One of the most popular deities in the Shinto pantheon is Inari. Inari is the god of, among other things, rice and business, and it's usually represented as a fox. Foxes hold a special position in Japanese mythology. They are gifted with sharp intelligence and the ability to shapeshift. They only get craftier with age, and the most cunning of them grow extra tails, up to a maximum of 9 if you expose them to a firestone. Such foxes are universally tricksters, but, as the figure of Inari suggests, they're not necessarily sinister ones. Today we're going to look at 2 folktales about foxes from the city of Wakayama. One with the best of intentions, and one with its own murderous designs. Let's start with Glenda the Good Fox. This story comes to us from the temple Kimi-dera, a large complex built on a hillside in southern Wakayama City. It dates back to the 8th century. In 1585, warlord Toyotomi Hideyoshi invaded the Kii Peninsula with an army of 100,000 soldiers. Hideyoshi aimed to conquer all of Japan, and he rolled over anyone who stood in his way. He burned the temple complex of the Negoro monks to the ground, and he flooded the fortress of the autonomous Saika group. The next stop on his campaign was Kimi-dera. The temple's small complement of soldiers clashed with Hideyoshi as he moved south, but it was a hopeless battle. Casualties were mounting, and the warlord's advance had barely slowed. It was at this time that a young nun named Haruko sequestered herself in one of the temple buildings and began to chant the sutras. Haruko vanished in the chaos of battle preparations, but some of the monks glimpsed a white fox slipping out of the building. The monks spent the next 2 days shoring up defenses for an attack that never came. In the aftermath, they learned that a young woman named Haruko had presented herself before Hideyoshi and begged the warlord to spare the temple. Hideyoshi unexpectedly agreed to the request and made it known that any soldier who burned Kimi-dera would be punished. The army continued to the south, toppling local lords and burning villages as it went, but they left Kimi-dera unscathed. Neither Haruko nor the fox was ever seen again, but a small memorial to Haruko stands on the grounds of the temple. During World War II, firebombs destroyed most of the city, but Kimi-dera again survived undamaged. Our remaining fox is not quite so benevolent. This next story takes place around the turn of the 20th century, when Wakayama got its first tram lines. Sadly, they no longer exist. The tram served all kinds of people, and allegedly, some who were not people at all. Foxes began riding the trains by shape-shifting into young women, then jumping off without paying. A conductor decided that the solution to these ticket dodgers was to construct an Inari shrine at a nearby temple. In the era of the tram, there was a well-regarded tea house around here. People came from all over to visit the tea house, and they were told to look for the proprietor, a woman who would throw her red hood at passersby to entice them in. Some travelers successfully found the tea house, but others were taken in by a wily fox borrowing the shape of the hooded woman. There, they would be subjected to humiliating pranks, the details of which you will have to imagine because the text does not elaborate. The shape-shifting fox's antics were impacting local businesses, so they hatched a scheme of their own to deal with the vixen once and for all. A young samurai pretended to be taken in by the fox's wiles, and when he found himself alone with it, he bashed its head in with a rock. Sadly, there's no climactic scene where 2 hooded women each insist that they're the real one, and the other one is the fox. I want you to think about 10 people you know. Can you safely declare that none of them are foxes in disguise? If so, then you're the fox, and I implore you to buy a damn ticket before you get on the train.